Let's have a look how they line up tonight. Leeds at fullback. The two wings are Mackay and Smith. In the centres, Barnes and Fittler. The half and 5/8 for Carter and Alexander. At lock is Vandervoort. The two second rowers, Walker and Cartwright, as I mentioned, the captain. Up front, Clark, Boyd and McNamara. And of course, coached by Phil Gould. Let's go through the Gold Coast lineup for you. At fullback is Peacock. The two wings are Thorne and Moore. In the centres, Weston and Martin. 5/8 and half is Lewis, captain, and Davies. At lock is Horstel. The two second rowers, Wallens and McLean. Up front is Tocco, Todd and Herring. And of course coached by the great man himself, Wally Lewis. The referee tonight is Mr. David Manson. He was the man that had the Origin series last year at the Sydney Football Stadium when Big Mark Geyer and Wally Lewis came together. 30 times as captain, 7 series wins, 8 times man of the match in State of Origin, Wally Lewis. Joined the Gold Coast in 91, Brisbane Broncos 88 through 90, Winner Manly back in 84, 87. Played for the Valleys 78 to 83, and of course the Australian schoolboys in 1977. Kick-off time now, Penrith first use of the ball. Ball bounces back as they bring it back.
And Manson might be a little bit benevolent early to the Gold Coast there. Brent Todd was a good metre offside. He looked straight at him from the kick-off and called play on. Should have been a penalty to start the game for Penrith. But they now have possession about 15, 20 metres out from their own line.
So Penrith on the attack now. What a crowd here for Wally Lewis. Fatty, I mean, a man you've been associated with for so long. It's a fine tribute to him.
Yeah, the game's been a sellout all week. I was up here early in the week. That's all everyone's been talking about is coming to see Wally's last game. But unfortunately for the Gold Coast, Penrith's on a mission. They want to get the 2 points to force a playoff if possible, and they're not going to do the Gold Coast any favours.
Alexander clearing kick for Penrith, comes right down for Peacock. Nice bounce first time. Takes play out 32 out from his line. So Gold Coast now they're touching the ball. Pretty slow to get back, Peter.
Yes, well, they need some urgency out there. Lewis will be the man driving them, and a great contrast out there. The two chief players for both teams, of course, Greg Alexander and Wally Lewis, very different in the way they play the game. Alexander, a brilliant individual player, as well as a good team man, of course. And Lewis, he just schemes away all day. Probably can't run in these 50 and 60 metre tries, but he does instigate a few of them.
So out they come, the Gold Coast, flickered back. Stab kick for the line. Looks like it'll be a good kick. It's a real good kick, let me tell you. That is a great kick. Takes play at 7 metres out from the Penrith line.
Big raps on young Craig Weston. Didn't have much room for error there. In fact, Graham Mackay, the winger for Penrith, he half appealed to the touch judge that had to touch the line on the full. That would have meant it was out on the full. But the Penrith feed. Good start for the Gold Coast territorially. So
Alexander to feed for the Panthers. Beautiful ground. This great facility up here on the Gold Coast. Congratulations to everybody at Seagulls. Gee, they've done a magnificent job. Penrith at the moment can't go anywhere. They're getting muscled and bustled. Still only 10 metres out. Trying to clear that area, but can't. This Gold Coast defence, very good. Swarming in, 1, 2, 3 players at a time. And Penrith now still inside their 22.
And they found some space in here. Steve Carter's in the open territory. He's got the winger inside him.
Carter with a really nice pass back.
And unfortunately, Olejnik just couldn't handle that one. It could have been a try otherwise, but good covering defence there by the Gold Coast.
And they've obviously thrown us a dummy, the Penrith team. Olejnik was named as a fresh replacement out there. Nathan Barnes, young player, was named in the centres. But a great pass there from Greg Alexander. Set something up. Here we see the final pass taken there. Unfortunately for Penrith, came unstuck. Olejnik losing the ball. What about the third or fourth tackle? They still had a couple up their sleeve.
Showing a lot of pace as McLean now pays it back, and the Gold Coast try and run it out of their area. Midway between the quarter and a half there into the ground. They feed it out again for Lewis. Lewis decides to clear out everything he's going to do tonight. He'll get cheered, there's no doubt about that, as Leach takes the ball on his 22. Runs it back strongly. Andrew Leach had a fine season with Penrith. Some doubt about his future with that club?
No, well, I think he's actually agreed to terms up there, Darryl, and rightly so. He left Parramatta and was basically not looking for money, just an opportunity, and was given that at Penrith, and as you say, he's had a marvellous season for them.
Tremendous season. Tony Ray on the sideline. Everything Wally's going to do tonight, they'll cheer.
Yeah, plenty of atmosphere down here, Darryl, and plenty of news from both camps prior to the game. The Gold Coast had a special meeting a half hour before their usual meeting time. Not much had to be said. They all knew the emotion of the occasion, and Lewis didn't have to rev them up much at all. Interesting enough, Penrith coach Phil Gould hasn't made the trip up. He has a middle ear infection. Anybody that had such a problem knows you simply can't travel on a plane. And Buck Rogers will be looking after the side tonight.
Tony, did I actually miss an interchange there, or did Olginek start the side in place of Barnes?
Barnes started and there was an interchange. Maybe there might be some qualifications for reserve grade happening there, Peter.
Okay, well, I know I've suffered from middle ear infections for the last 20-odd years, and they are absolutely horrendous if you're in an aeroplane. You just can't do it. Right, now here's the Gold Coast trying to step their way out of problems. And look at this defence from Penrith. Just belts them back to the 10-metre line. Herring now with a good ball out for Todd. Todd goes hard and straight, still inside the 22, though, the Gold Coast at the moment. Strong run. They need to do more of that, though. Davies comes in, scoops it up, gets it back to Lewis. Lewis now belts the ball down, looking for touch, and finds it too.
Well, it wasn't the exact kick that Wally Lewis was looking for, but he did find touch. There's a little bit of a shake of the head. Knows he didn't hit that one exactly right. Would have been looking to find much more distance than that. But he has found touch, and now we will now go into a scrum situation just inside the Penrith half.
So Penrith ball, Carter. Carter, the long looper for Leeds. Picked up for Fittler. They turn it back inside for Mackay. Mackay winds up the big man on the halfway. Gets a nice ball away against. They keep it alive, Penrith.
I was surprised that Mackay came back in. They actually looked as though that half set up an overlap. Mackay ran the inside run at an angle and just ran back into the defence coming across. Walker, play it back to Boyd. Oh, some big defence there and slammed down Penrith. Oh, some solid defence.
It looks to me the way Penrith are setting up their attack, they are going to try, and there's a slight knock on there by Brett Boyd at the dummy half, but they had a big back line set out, and they look like they're going to try and run around the Coast all night. The Coast do play that compressed defence. As Boyd just taking their eyes off the ball and knock the pill forward there.
Well, they've got plenty of pace out wide now. Lewis now gets a chance for the Gold Coast to stretch their legs, see what they can do with the football. Cuts out Davies, goes on to
Paul Martin in the centres with Craig Weston. Very important for young Craig Weston, who they do have enormous raps on up here, to have a player like Paul Martin, an ex-Canberra player, of course, quite experienced on one side, and Wally Lewis on the other. It's a fair introduction into first grade.
McLean back to Davies, gets it on to Lewis. They straighten up the attack, but buried centre field again. This defence from Penrith holding pretty well tonight. Again, Wally Lewis will kick, stabs the ball, puts it between Leeds and Mackay. Leeds will get it though, the bounce favours him. Brings it back across field, and they take him about 13 metres out from the line. Mackay again, geez, busy tonight, Mackay, looking for some work.
Well, he's aiming for a kangaroo spot or a tour spot at the end of the season when Australia go over to play Great Britain. Another player out there who is doing the same tonight, I think, is Greg Alexander. There is a big question mark over the fullback area. People have talked about Julian O'Neill. He's a good prospect, but Alexander can play fullback. If he proves his fitness tonight, then he's a big chance as they go wide again, the Panthers.
Well, Greg Alexander was quite disappointing against Illawarra, even though he did persevere. Just things didn't run for him that game. He's looked fairly positive out there today and looking to run the football and getting involved a great deal. And if Penrith are to win this game, he's got to be involved up to his bootlaces.
Alexander with a fine kick, finding touch. 26 metres out, the scrum will pack. And both sets of players pretty slow to come back.
It's fairly warm out there, Darryl, compared to, I suppose, what we are experiencing in Sydney.
Good
no
point.
breeze at all. A lovely night to be playing football, actually. But as you would expect on the Gold Coast, still quite warm and humid conditions.
Beautiful night up here, perfect. Overcast skies. There was some hint of rain, but didn't materialise. And here's a break that the Gold Coast need it now. More strides downfield taken in. No support with him, though. Davies gets to him as quickly as he can. And that'll be a penalty to the Gold Coast. The guy holding down more where he couldn't play the ball back. And that was a good break.
Some very poor defence there from the inside backs for Penrith. Eventually, Graham Mackay brought Clinton Moore down, but if he'd have beaten Mackay, he was in under the posts. Now a penalty has resulted, and Lewis will find touch just outside the 22. There's the penalty going against the tackler Graham Mackay.
So Moore again now takes it up inside the 22. Good chance for the Gold Coast here. Lined out nice and deep. Lewis is calling for the ball, but it doesn't go to him. Davies, oh, some big defence there. Bang, straight down and hard.
But that is very poor play by the Gold Coast. Second tackle and a forward pass. of a simple move. It's just that, you know, one off the ruck stuff. Davies, you know, why would he pass it? The man's got to get back deep. And Davies, although he's inexperienced, he should not have passed that ball.
And they were obviously setting up for a set play because there were only about 2 or 3 bodies in motion. And again, Wally Lewis's hands just went to the hips to say, well, how can that happen?
So Leeds gets round Wally Lewis. Went down low, missed him though. Cleaned up on the second attempt. They come round the other way with a lap around Penrith. But this defence is holding up. Clark, he goes straight and hard. Outside by 33 metres now from their line. Cartwright wrapped up, tried to slip it away and couldn't. Playing over the top of him with a good smothering tackle. Comes up for Vandervoort.
And Wally's playing out very wide in defence. I don't think he'll be setting any tackling records tonight in his last game. He'll just probably cruise his way through, but no doubt we'll see a fine game from him with his kicking and his running and his passing.
So at the moment, 0-0 here at Seagulls between Penrith and the Gold Coast. So Gold Coast again with a chance for the ball, but gee whiz, they seem to want to get rid of the ball, but they just go one out at the moment, and again they come back inside.
Well, I do think that's one thing that Wally Lewis has instilled into the team this year. Even though they may be sitting on the bottom of the ladder, they are much more competitive, and they don't make as many mistakes in their own territory as they have done in the last couple of years. We just see them play out. There's Michael McLean, slips the ball out the back. It's probably undone a fair bit of the work done in the previous couple of tackles, but they'll just work it out till they get a reasonable field position for Lewis to kick the football.
So Gold Coast midway between the half and the quarter, back for Lewis for the clearing kick. Stabs it down. Leeds will take that pretty easy though. There's no trouble getting that, and brings it back probably 5 or 6 metres. Penrith, this is McNamara.
We see Penrith adopting much the same tactics.
And there's Graham Rogers, the coach, is filling in for Phil Gould with that middle ear infection. So Phil, we're thinking about you, and I certainly sympathise with you. I've suffered those problems for some years, as I've mentioned. It's pretty painful stuff.
20 years, Darryl.
20 years. Time flies when you're having fun, dude. In fact, Ray Warren has had a middle ear infection, so there's another bit of trivia for you.
Oh, well, there's a big mistake there from the fullback, Danny Peacock, trying to clean up the ball with his foot. It's come back to the Penrith team, and that's 6 again. They'll set their back line. I'm pretty sure they'll work to Mackay's wing wherever possible, and that's what they're looking to do now. Steve Carter, the ball back inside. Barry Walker up the middle.
Barry Walker now takes play inside the 22, so Penrith with a great attacking chance here. I remind you, it's 0-0 at the moment. Comes out for Carter. Carter's looking for Olling, but it goes the other way back to Alexander. Goes out wide for Fittler. Fittler now. Oh, look at this. They're in. That's all they had to do. They just changed the point of the attack. Oh, so easy. Came this way, turned it back by 2, went the other way, and Penrith in for the first try of the night.
Well, last week against Cronulla, Arthur Beetson, after Penrith beat Cronulla, said that this man Fittler has got the best step he's seen since... Who was it? Graham Langlands. That's right. I thought he said since Fatty Vaughton. But the right foot one, normally it's a left foot, but right foot there, and it's too easy for Fittler. He's a great player.
And there we see a couple of youngsters involved. Brad Fittler up against Craig Weston. I suppose that shows the difference in experience. Fittler, a kangaroo, got the big step going, beat Weston pointlessly, really, and then just had a pretty easy run to the line. Here's a lump of a player, isn't he, Brad Fittler? Still a youngster, and he's going to be a guiding light at Penrith for many, many years to come. A real touch of class to this Panthers outfit.
So the Seagulls in behind the line, and Lewis doing what he's had to do for the last 2 years. Give him plenty of advice of how to get out of trouble.
Sterlo, we saw the mistake made by Peacock. There you go, 4 tackles later. You know, you make a mistake in your own quarter these days, the other side will make it pay, and Penrith has certainly done that.
So Andrew Leeds now, hoping to convert the Fittler try. There we go. Not a bad looking attempt, but waved away, so the score remains Penrith 4, Seagulls 0.
Hey, Darryl, they might have paid that last night. It might have been a goal.
Well, here we see the mistake made from Danny Peacock there. Just Really, it was lazy play, trying to stop it with his boot. If you can get your boot to the ball, you can get your hands to it.
So Wally Lewis to restart play. Stabs it off. Taken by Mackay on the run. Big man winds up. Takes it just outside the 22. A good positive start from Penrith. And again, they just muscle and hustle. And here's Mackay again. Starts to stretch out the big man down centre field. But they take him this time around and pull him down. And the support pretty slow in coming to him. Now they've arrived, though, as McNamara. They feed it out for Cartwright. Cartwright gets to the 22 and barrel down. Boyd goes in an acting half, looking for McNamara. Out it comes. They take him this time right on the 22. Cribbs another one or two. Alexander looking for it. Out for Fittler, out for Carter now. Olingjink, he comes round the other side. Too much defence, though. Gold Coast got around there quite well indeed to pull him down, and they only really made probably 2 or 3 metres going across the field in that movement.
Well, they've actually taken him into touch there, so it will be a scrum. Then we see the end of the backline movement. Olingjink was tackled about 5 metres in, but they were able to take him over. And Tony Ray, a few gaps starting to appear in this Gold Coast outfit. They started strongly, but a few chinks now.
Yeah, they did start strongly, and all of a sudden they've lost some field position. As soon as Penrith got down the other end, the class of them brought them over with a couple of tries. They mean business tonight. Paul Clark bumped into a couple of reserve graders during the day, asked them how pumped up the Gold Coast side was. He said, well, tell them we are too. We're here on a mission.
You're very close to the action down there. Can you hear much talk between the teams or amongst the teams?
I can particularly hear Greg Alexander. He's making a lot of noise in the Penrith side, not so much from the Gold Coast side because they're on the other end to me, but Greg Alexander's a guy making a lot of noise out there.
So McLean comes back for Herring. Herring gets it out for Lewis. Lewis drives the ball down deep, but again, Leeds will have no trouble fielding it and doesn't. It's out of his 22, brings it back, tries to step. The defence meets him now, but he's bringing it back with a fair bit of ease and making 10 or 15 metres each time. Penrith now work their way back to centre field, giving themselves plenty of options which way to go. Just work it through the forwards for 1 or 2. Boyd having a look now. He'll go for Clark. Clark now brings it up. He's met. Almost gets through Clark. Good, hard, strong run. Comes out for Alexander onto Cartwright. Had to fumble it a little bit, Cartwright. He tried to unload it, but thought better of it. There's some rough stuff going on here. Alexander again using the air. Comes back for Moore. Moore just inside his 22, tries to step his way out, does get out of the 22 by half a metre. Well, Pete, what can the Gold Coast do? This defence of Penrith is such a straight line defence. They're having trouble. Should they be using the shallow kick a little better?
No, I don't think so, Darryl. You see there, on most occasions, Greg Alexander does drop in behind the line. I think they've just got to work away. It's 4-0 down at the moment. They have lost a little bit of their territorial advantage, which they probably enjoyed in the first 5 minutes. Here's Lewis going for, well, that's a much longer kick, but again, Leeds will put himself in good position. They've just got to work away, not push too much, and when the opportunities present themselves, just be prepared to take them.
Well, they're making it very easy for the Penrith siders. There's been a knock on there by Andrew Leeds, and this will be a chance for the Coast now, but they're putting no variety on the Coast. They're just taking it one out. And as so far we haven't seen a backline movement, maybe they should drift across, turn the ball back inside, or a couple of runarounds. Lee's dropped that ball going into that tackle, so the Coast now, they've got a chance.
So this scrum, the pack right on the 22. Penrith's into the ground, this big crowd trying to urge the Gold Coast on. Lewis, he turns it back inside, but this defensive Penrith is there. Every time a player looks like he sees a gap and closes pretty quickly. Up goes the chant for the Seagulls. This might rev them up. They elect to go the other side, and the crowd are really getting behind this Seagull side now. They're nice and deep. They cut out Lewis. Wallens it was that plays it back. It goes to Herring. It comes to Davies, the little man. He puts the pedal down, but they get him about 10 metres out right on the line. Herring shovels it out to Lewis. Lewis puts it up in the air. Plenty of chasers coming through. Bit of a lucky, nice-looking kick. Let's have a look.
It's a great take, Andrew Leeds. Under a lot of pressure. It was well weighted, the kick from Lewis. A lot of Penrith chasers there. Andrew Leeds, as he's done all season, able to climb the best and came down with the football.
He has been safe all year, hasn't he?
Well, it gives a great deal of confidence to the players in front of you when you know you've got a fullback there who is safe under any type of kick. Andrew Leeds, of course, came across to the game from rugby union. Anybody who can stand there and take the All Black kicks without flinching can play in my team any day.
So Penrith now working their way out of the half. I remind you with the semi-finals and grand finals, and so we'll come back to that in a moment because there's a big run in here. Oh dear, Vandervoort with a big break. He got it away. The defence came down and stuffed the Penrith attack out right on the 22, but great field position for them now as it comes back out for Alexander. He floats a long way over for Leeds. Leeds right on the far side of the ground will be bundled into touch now, or does he manage to stay and play?
No, he's gone out. That's a bad mistake from Andrew Leeds. It was only fourth tackle after a big break made up the middle there. Plenty of Penrith support. And to go over the sideline there, he wasn't going to score a try. It wasn't one of those desperate situations where you can go for the line. He was just taken over, and they'll be disappointed with that.
So they scrum the pack about 12 metres out. I just remind you the semi-finals and grand final live. The semis in Sydney, Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 through 8:30. And on Sunday, 5:30 through 7:30. And that's for the rest live right round the network. But in Brisbane, there is a bit of a change on Sunday, September the 6th, because of your local grand final. So check your local guides right around Australia. But live cover, 6:30 through 8:30, 5:30 through 7:30. That's Saturday and Sunday. Brisbane the exception. Just check your guides. Big rugby league action coming up with the 9 team for you right through the build-up of the semi-finals, the final, of course, culminating on the wonderful telecast right round Australia on grand final day. So now the Gold Coast through Davies, gets it out to Lewis again. Lewis again kicking. Plenty of spaces there. Leeds coming across. Will he cut it off? Beautifully picked up, Leeds. He's been on this ball like a radar.
Fatty, that was a better set of 6 coming out. They did show a little bit of variety, spread the ball a couple of passes before they went to the kick on the last.
Yeah, they were a lot more positive there, the case. They made 40 metres in 5 rucks, and that was a lot better from them. And Penrith, I think they should win this game quite comfortably tonight. They've really got their game down pat. Gus Gould at home, he'll be happy. When they make a break, what I like about them, they get set up very quickly for the next play. As Alexander throws out wide, there's more space out here.
A Walker. Hard and straight, still going Walker. Now they get him down. Todd over the top. Comes out for Clark. And slips a lovely ball away too. Inside again for Boyd. He's looking for a run. Alexander was coming through, but the Gold Coast come up with it. Well, bad luck there for Penrith now. Davies starts to step his way through the Penrith attack. He gets it back for Lewis. Almost Lewis was offside. He had to stop to take the ball. Listen to the crowd. Wally's biggest run of the night.
And they're still living very dangerously, the Gold Coast team. McNamara came onto a great ball from Paul Clark. He tried to pick up Brett Boyd, but Ali Davies got in between the players. The penalty now awarded to the Gold Coast. But again, they've been busted pretty easily, although it was a very smart ball from Clark.
So Lewis again, kicking the Coast some territory. It makes it a pretty safe kick. Doesn't get a lot of ground out of that one, but made sure he put it out. So the score, I remind you, Penrith leading the Gold Coast 4-0.
And there's been an interchange. Darryl, Jamie Ollich, he's gone off, and Nathan Barnes. He's having a birthday today or tomorrow. Happy birthday, Nathan, and he's back on the field.
So the Coast this time, Davies. He's a clever little player, Davies, isn't he? He shows the ball, he's darting around, he's trying every which way he can to get through this defence. Now this is a better chance for him, but again the pass goes, that final pass goes astray, and the Gold Coast have got to leap on it and just try and clean it up.
Well, I don't think the Gold Coast were too impressed with that.
So the score at the moment, Penrith 4 leading the Gold Coast 0. Penrith ball. This time the Coast coming a little bit quicker, try and snuff out the attack. Penrith nice and deep. They look, you can see which way they're going to go. It's Carter and Fittler. Now goes to Leeds. Leeds had Barnes, the birthday boy, right beside him. Didn't get a touch that time round. Now it's Cartwright stepping.
More importantly, had Graham Mackay out wider. If they'd have got a face pass to him again, Mackay would have been in open spaces. So they are creating overlaps when they do go to the back line.
Old Vandervoort, centre field, strong and tough. Gets himself another metre or so. Again through Alexander. Up it comes for Fittler. Mackay. There's a bit of push and shove with Moore. Nothing in that. Just says get out of the way. I'm ready to go. Alexander stabs it down. Peacock won't get this one. Another good kick from Alexander. So Penrith seem to be able to run and pass whenever they want to, and they certainly get some good territory with a kicking game for Alexander. He's spot on tonight.
That Solic on the sideline, look like he's got a crook knee there or a wrist or something, and got the ice back on, the magic ice. That's what all injuries, you should take care of them. As soon as you get an injury, put the ice back on, and it stops the bleeding. For more tips on
Dr. Fatty,
more tips on injuries, be tuned next week.
I thought a bathe in the Wollongong Ocean would be all right. That'd fix you up, but not the salt water there, the Wollongong Ocean.
Well, a high tackle there from Stu Carter will be penalised. See the Gold Coast player taken high, and he's still on the ground now, getting up. It was Brent Todd. I don't think there was too much in it. There's Carter going. Well, it was high, and that was penalised.
Yeah, but it's more of an arm grab than anything else, really, wasn't it?
So Lewis kicks on the broadcast side of this stadium. Everybody going up. The kids all trying to get the football. Todd takes it back again. Up at Davies. Was that a bit sus, that one there. Tony Ray. They've certainly they're running at Penrith, but it's just too hard, this defence from the Panthers tonight.
Yeah, they're certainly on the game tonight. I've been particularly impressed with the start of John Cartwright, the Panthers captain. He's been charging onto the ball nicely on the fringes, looking to get that big right arm free. He's also contributing well in defence.
So Lewis now, a big long pass out for Davies. Now they scoop it out, turn it back inside, back for Davies again. Davies gets a good ball away. They're still keeping it alive, going nowhere at the moment. Peacock comes into play. Now he makes a break. Peacock, down he goes, but they swap him. He gets a good ball away. Oh yes, try time for the Seagulls go in. Oh, good play from Clinton Moore, right under the black dot too, and that was marvellous play. They kept it alive, and little Davies, I reckon he started that. He just kept the ball turning which way, each way, inside short passes. Good try.
That's as good a try as you'd ever want to see. The Broncos and Canberra can score tries like that, and so can the Gold Coast side. Started out here, and the Penrith defence in the middle turned a bit soft. That pass there was allowed to get away, and Todd, he hit Peacock, who just busted a couple away. He went, and the backup came from Clinton Moore, right under the sticks. Great try to the Gold Coast, and they'll hit the front after this kick.
And the fans love Danny Peacock getting involved, and he did it to perfection here. Interesting to see Lewis take the first pass and then the wide pass to Ali Davies. Ali Davies played a big role. He kept alive, as did most of the Gold Coast players. Here's Danny Peacock, the big step beat Cartwright. An unusually bad miss there from Colin Vandervoort. And then we see 3 players for Penrith involved in the tackle, but they still couldn't wrap the ball up. More under the post.
Well, even there, that last tackle, they should have really cleaned him up, shouldn't they? 3 of them on Danny Peacock. He's been a real find, or a real plus for this Gold Coast side this year. As Clinton Moore, he'd be very happy with that try. But Peacock's been an outstanding player for them from the full-back position. And
that's a big job for Clinton Moore to take the score, to score under the post from this right-hand wing. He's had to cover some territory.
Craig Weston right in front here. Just great ball from Peacock, wasn't it? Wow, that's revved them up here, let me tell you. So Weston in front, can throw it over from here, but he kicks it over instead. So the Seagulls now hit the front, 6 points to 4 over Penrith. Listen to the crowd. The mini Lang Park here tonight.
There we see one of the Penrith players leaving the field. It's the number 3, Nathan Barnes. Hasn't spent a lot of time out there tonight. Named in the starting side. Was interchanged in the first minute or so. He's now leaving the field.
So Penrith restart through the boot of Andrew Leeds, taken by Ali Davis. And back they come, the Gold Coast, this time to the 22. Well, this will give them a lot of heart, Tony Ray. Gee, that was a good ball, wasn't it, up from Peacock?
There was 2 great balls in that one. Out in the fringes, I think it was Craig Weston slipped a nice one inside to Paul Martin that got the ball rolling. And yeah, Peacock. I was glad that Sterling gave Clinton Moore a rap, because that was a sensational piece of backing up.
This Ali Davies is a busy little player, isn't he?
Yeah, he toils well with Lewis. He just seems to feed off him.
So The Gold Coast in front by 2. And now kicking for some territory. Leeds again perfectly positioned though. Runs it back pretty safely too.
That was a very important set of 5 tackles there for the Gold Coast team. They've scored points. Adrenaline's pumping, and you don't want to make a mistake as soon as that's happened. You want to consolidate straight away. They did that. They worked play. They didn't give Weston the easiest position to kick from, but he did find Andrew Leach down on his 22, so they did go pretty much the length of the field.
So Big Hoss Cartwright brings it up now. Flicks one back inside for Walker. The referee says sorry, forward. So the scrum will pack right on the halfway line. Penrith trailing the Gold Coast by 2.
A little bit unlucky there.
Yeah, it didn't look too bad to me, the pass, but it was a good front-on tackle by Tocco, who's done a lot of the hard stuff up the middle. Hasn't gone unnoticed by several people, but my word, he's doing a lot of work in there.
Davies shows the ball for Lewis, but it doesn't. It goes out for Martin. Davies onto Todd. Todd tries to unload, but just can't get the arm through at the last second or so, so goes down with the ball. They still work the blind. This time another good break from the Gold Coast. They get a sniff of a break, and now they're starting to run over the ball.
Well, they're very dangerous when this happens. That was a great run from Darren Wolans, and they've got space to go to the back line now. Not a good ball from Lewis, cleaned up by Martin, but they did get some momentum going, and Lewis looking to get involved again.
Peacock gets involved this time now. They probe away to the 22. Scoops it out for Lewis. Lewis is going to bomb it. Real high kick, and look at Leeds coming through. Can't handle it though, comes out of the arms. Wolans picks it up for the Gold Coast. He goes straight and hard. The referee says play on.
Well, he hasn't ruled 6 again either, so they've got to kick here or it will be a changeover. They've kept it alive. Clinton Moore got Weston outside, does get his boot to the ball. Cleaned up by Steve Carter. Clinton Moore comes through.
Well, Penrith looked at 6 and 7s there again, with the Gold Coast showing a bit of variety in attack. Big high ball from Lewis, couldn't be taken by Leeds this time. No, but gave another chance.
Mustn't have been touched by Leeds either, Darryl. No. So it did sort of propel out as though Leeds had come in and wasn't able to catch the ball.
It looked like it just spilled off his chest, didn't it?
Well, here it is here. Andrew Leeds coming through. Gee, you'd nearly think he'd have got... Well, it might have come off his hands there, but I think the referee ruled it came off the Gold Coast player's shoulder, and that's why it went backwards.
A plain shoulder there. You can see his head buried down. So Penrith now trying to run themselves out of trouble. On the far side of the ground, just outside the 22. Olingjink is back on the field for Penrith, and a loose pass cleaned up though. This time they stab away and try and kick the ball down to the Seagulls end of the ground. It only really gets over halfway, and the Gold Coast have brought it back into the Penrith half now. So another chance for the Seagulls.
Well, that was unusual. I didn't think it was the last tackle, and Brett Boyd decided to kick the football. Didn't get a very big kick down. All it's done is given the Gold Coast possession. They're now inside the opposition half on second tackle.
Oh, some big body contact out here where we're sitting. You can just hear the body contact hard as Tocco then. Gee whiz, he took some punishment. This is Wolans. Wolans turns it back inside for Lewis. It goes to Ali Davies. He's stepping around, trying to get round the Penrith defender, and does so too. But they're wrapped up again, Gold Coast, and driven back a couple. Lewis again. Long floating pass this time, but this defence from Penrith comes up in a straight line and bang, snuffs it out. Back for Lewis. Little stab kick. Leeds got to run up to it. He'll take it safely though, and does. And he's tackled on the 22. Alexander showing plenty of pace. Alexander now, if he can link up, he does with Carter. Carter splits him up the centre. He's got support, Carter. He might need it. Over comes the cover. He's beaten the cover. Oh, Steve Carter, what a great try. All the way round the field. Started by Alexander, and Carter put him away. Beautiful footwork from Steve Carter. Oh, great try, Penrith.
Yes, great individual effort by Steve Carter, but Greg Alexander must give him a rap here. He started it with a lightning run in his own 10-metre area. The Gold Coast, they thought they had Penrith covered, but the Penrith side showed a touch of class here. It was Alexander there on the 10-metre zone inside that area, and here they go. The defence is very compressed, very lazy out wide here, didn't move up at all. And Carter, 75-metre job for him. He got away from that defender there. Wally on the inside couldn't do anything. He had Brad Fittler, but Horse and Carter blew him out of the water there with that great try.
Well, as you say, Paul, the problem was that the Gold Coast defence didn't move up at all on the outside. They didn't think there was a problem until Greg Alexander came wide, set Steve Carter up, had too much pace for Western. He tried the ankle tap. Brad Fittler would have scored if he'd have decided to throw the ball inside, and Danny Peacock was just beaten pointlessly by the step from Steve Carter. He scores wide out with a nice little dive too, a 9.8, that one.
A very strange running style, Steve Carter, has he? Really tucks himself down low.
Well, it's strange to me, Darryl, but it's quick. He's very fast. Well, I don't identify with too well, but we talk about Brisbane being able to score tries the length of the field, and Penrith are one of the other teams in the competition who can do that. And that's why all the other semi-final contenders would like to see the Gold Coast win this one. They don't want them involved in the semi-finals in any shape or form.
Well, Peter and Fatty, I mean, they've had a dreadful year. They've had injuries. They've had all sorts of traumas. I mean, we've been through it so many times through the year. But, gee, when they turn on football like that, it's great. Here's Andrew Leeds. Difficult attempt. Ah, beautiful looking attempt, though. Let's see if it'll come back inside. No, it doesn't. Misses this time. Last night it might have got in, but it certainly doesn't get in tonight. So as we repeat the score for you now, it is Penrith and the Gold Coast 8-6. Referee David Manson says let's restart again. Lewis kicks off for the Seagulls. Well, they'd feel a bit shell-shocked about that one, Fatty, because really came out of the blue, didn't it?
Well, they would. The Gold Coast are looking good at 6-4, but a sensational try by the Penrith side. And, you know, you talk about coaches of the year. You talk about Bennett, Brian Smith. I reckon Phil Gould this year has done as good a job as anyone in the Winfield Cup. A penalty now to the Panthers for interference in the play of the ball. But Gould, the job he's done to keep this side together after all the drama that's happened to them during the year, been a great job by him.
And it must be a frustrating job. Again, you see Wally Lewis shaking his head there, the penalty given away by the Gold Coast team. I mentioned in the call last night between Illawarra and Brisbane the fact that when you don't think there is a problem, that's exactly when you've got one. And the Gold Coast defence end, well, they didn't think anything was on. They had 4 or 5 players who did not come up on the outside. If they had, Greg Alexander wouldn't have been able to create the overlap he did.
Tony Ray, they're exciting when they play this sort of football, aren't they?
It's been an exciting first half all around. The ball's been thrown around, plenty of big hits. The crowd's really loving it, and you can't ask for much more in a game of football.
Well, I mentioned the body contact because we're high in the stands opposite you, and let me tell you, we can hear the slaps from up here loud and clear.
I'm getting sweat in my eyes. There's that much coming off on the heads.
Fittler now puts one out. He shovels the ball out for Leeds. Leeds works play 10 metres into the goals half. Sloppy ball, but they've just Horse Cartwright now lines up. He's got Ollingick out here. He goes back the other way, unloads again to Alexander. This is when they're dangerous. They look like they're going backwards, and all of a sudden you get a bloke like Clark that just straightens up and have a look at forward game. Forward pass. Oh dear, they nearly did it again though. I just said that's when they look dangerous. They look like they're going nowhere. Someone straightens up the attack. Oh, so close.
And Manson was right on the spot there. You see, just on the left of the screen there, he comes up behind Paul Clark, and there's the pass. Actually, the 22 line gave a good indication that the ball was thrown one side of it, caught the other side by Carter.
Oh, what about the pace by Nobby Clark? Unbelievable, but he just at the last moment, he looked to the left. He knew he had Carter on the right, but that second it took him to look to the left cost him the forward pass.
But that's when they are dangerous, aren't they? I mean, they'll look like they're going nowhere. They get confused, and all of a sudden someone straightens it up, and bang, they're in business again. All right, Todd's in business now. He unloads for Davies. Davies now. That's a good ball. Comes out for Moore. Moore steps by. He loses his balance. Bad luck, Moore. Clint Moore's having a great game here. So is Ellie Davies.
Good cover defence by McNamara on that occasion. That's the coach swinging out left.
Lewis, he's got McLean beside him, but he's got to take the tackle. Centre field, inside the 22 by half a metre. The coast now, can they retaliate? Comes back for Davies. He switches the point of attack. Todd now puts a nice ball up for Martin, but can't go anywhere for it. Pass again. Well, the players, it's their little short passes, and it's so critical.
Yeah, forward pass again. This one from Brent Todd. He's been doing this all year, just slipping the short ball. Once again, I think that went backwards, that pass, and unlucky for the coast.
So we've had a number of forward passes in the last couple of minutes, but as I say, the players are running onto little short passes, and if you don't time it right, Fatty, you've only got to miss it by a centimetre, and she's forward. Mackay for Penrith. Hasn't had a lot to do. He was busy for the first 10 minutes and has gone quiet for the last 10 minutes. But wait for him to explode, the big man. He'll come back. Exciting winger. Colin van der Voort works play centre field.
Had a strong game, Colin van der Voort, tonight. They missed him, you know, when they lost him for 4 weeks through suspension. They really missed his work rate and his skills around the rucks. That's a good ball from Cartwright out to Mackay once again.
Yeah, more underneath him. Davies over the top this time. Alexander shovels it out for Walker. Wallen's over the top. McLean also involved with that tackle. Alexander turns it inside for Leeds. Leeds tries to kick it, misses the ball. Wallens picks it up for the Gold Coast and he gets dropped. So out for Lewis. Shovels it out for Martin. He turns back inside, takes a couple of steps. Options either way. Which way will they go? They go to Todd. Todd's hit and spins but doesn't unload. Calling for it deep out here as the half-time hooter has gone. Lewis puts a little chip over Davies, following it through. Doesn't get the bounce, so Alexander gets the bounce. That'll wrap it up.
Penalty to the Penrith side for players being inside the 10 metres. They obviously thought, Manson saw that those Gold Coast players were in front of Lewis when he kicked that ball. So Penrith get a relieving penalty. Not that they needed. It's half-time, 8-6, and we'll just see them probably take the one tackle. Well, he's ruled that Davies is offside. He looked on okay to me. Manson a bit hard on the Gold Coast on that occasion, but the Penrith will put this ball into touch for one last play before half-time.
So the score sits at 8-6. The half-time hooter has gone, and Penrith with the last throw of the dice for this half in an entertaining half of football. If you've just joined us, it's Wally Lewis's last game in illustrious career. And at the moment, there's a gridiron pass straight out for Fiddler, gets it on to Alexander. Can they do something with this? No, sir. Alexander tackled. Good attempt, though, with a big gridiron pass. That wraps it up at half-time here at Seagulls. Hope you've enjoyed an entertaining first half. And I remind you of the score. Penrith are leading the Seagulls 8.
The statistics of the first half really show that the Seagulls should be trailing by more. Their line's been broken 7 times, only 3 times the Gold Coast have been able to do so. A lot of missed tackles, 18-8. The Gold Coast really committing suicide there. Some handling errors for Penrith. They've tried to keep the ball alive. The only thing that the Gold Coast team do lead in was the kicks, and that just shows they've had to bring the ball out in their own line a lot more.
And that's exactly what they're doing this time round as Manson blows time on for the second half. And Gold Coast first use of the ball again. Well, they really tried hard in the first 10 minutes of that first half. They probed away. Let's have a look at the penalties. Penrith 2, Gold Coast 3, so nothing much in that. Scrums 9-5. Now, a lot of that goes because Alexander's kicking game was spot on. He was finding touch where Lewis was kicking to general areas. There's the top tacklers in the forwards for you. Herring with 17, McManara 20. And in the back, Martin 9 and Carter an amazing 11 tackles, and he's had a strong game too. So Andrew Leeds now. It's barreled inside the 22. Probably lost 2 or 3 metres running back there, trying to find that spot. Comes back for him again. This time he makes 4 or 5. Up they come through Walker. Tony Ray, what was said in the dressing rooms?
Well, after such an exciting first half, there wasn't much come out of either room. Particularly the Penrith room, just business as usual, get on with what we were doing in the first half. The unforced errors were very minimal, so both coaches were happy with that. The Gold Coast room, well, it was just give what you got for 40 minutes, play it on emotion.
Olenjink now, he gets tackled on the far side of the ground. It's been a good tussle between these two. Been a bit of push and shove, and so little chip over the top. Peacock there to cover up, though, and does it nicely. He made some incisive runs in the first half. Danny Peacock, this time tackled centre field. Ali Davis moves in quickly, shovels the ball out to Craig Weston. Turns it back inside for Todd. Hard and straight, takes it to the halfway line, just inside Penrith territory. McLean looked for a run, but it wasn't coming to him. Instead, Ray Herring took the ball up. Horsell now puts one out for Peacock. Robin Thorne shovels it out for Ali Davis on to Lewis. Lewis with a little stab kick, follows it through. Lewis, he gets the bounce too. Chance here for the Gold Coast. Throws a long loop around, picked up well too. They turn it back inside, but the Penrith defence comes across. Nice thinking from Wally Lewis that time round.
Oh, shades of the king at his best there. That's back to 1984 vintage. Just a little grubber through and the regather. Sensational stuff by the King. Unfortunately didn't lead to a try, but some enterprising play from the coast.
You've given him a rat there, Fatty. His best was in 1984. He's been on the slide for 8 years.
I've got a Queensland on one side of me, and I've got a New South Welshman on the other side. Here's Lewis.
Well, that was a beautiful little kick. The big wide pass found his winger. Inside pass, and probably Martin should have tried to keep this alive. It was the last tackle. Odds to nothing.
So Penrith now down near their 22, that danger zone. Boyd trying to unload it. They thump him down. Final tackle, fifth one, out it comes for the kick. And Thorne will clean it up for the Gold Coast. Gets round the first one, Thorne stumbles and has got to take the tackle there. Looking for Todd. Todd again goes in hard on the halfway line.
He went down hard off John Cartwright's shoulder charge as well.
Wallens, centre field. Davies on to Lewis. Lewis, nice pass out now for Thorne. Thorne turns it back inside, but the cover defence comes across. This time they're looking pretty enterprising. This little man, Davies, he's been busy right through this game. He's tried really to bamboozle the Panther defence. Very strong though, but he's been a pretty exciting player. Now Lewis, another good kick. Well placed. Down it comes, bouncing ball. And Penrith will play it to get out of trouble. Colin Vandervoort brings it out 11 metres. Comes on for Clark. Clark slips one back for Boyd. Boyd, little nuggety leg, starting to pump. Look at him waiting for the support to come, and they just couldn't reach him. He's strong on the legs, this fella. Well, a messy play the ball. Who's come up with it? Fittler's come up with it. It goes to Alexander. They get it on to Carter. Carter shows it, holds the ball up to unload, but can't. Messy play the last couple of minutes as Clark now. He'll straighten it up. Does so too. Still in their own half, Penrith, though. They fire it out for Alexander. He's got time. Gets the kick away. Peacock and Thorne down there. Peacock will clean it up. And gets out to the 22. So the Gold Coast pinned down that area that they're desperately trying to avoid. They're into the ground. Only 2 points in it, 8-6, Penrith leading. Davies, little bustling run, flung to the ground though.
He has had a busy game, Darryl, as you pointed out, in a couple of occasions. Really had the football a lot as Lewis drives the ball in behind Paul Smith. He'll find touch. Again, not a great deal of ground gained there. The scrum to be set in Penrith's half, and that's the end they obviously want to play. Doing a marvellous job again, these young Penrith players, as they've done the last couple of weeks. So many injuries, of course, have hit the club over the last month or so, but Carl McNamara, well, he's done a great job again out there tonight. Brett Boyd has played well. And Brad Fittler, Steve Carter, they just provide a little bit of class out there. And you've got to remember that these guys are still young players. They're still 19, 20, 21 years of age. They seem to have been around for a little while.
Fittler with a nice long floater way out there for Mackay. Nice and deep again. It's going to come back this way. Decide to go through Colin van der Voort. He makes about 4 or 5 and takes play to halfway. Carter onto Alexander. Cartwright. We've gone nowhere because he's back on that halfway line. Out for Alexander. McNamara will play it. Boyd looking for Alexander, but Boyd takes the kick, stabs it down for Thorne. Thorne will clean it up too. But Peacock to assist him, he gets it away to Peacock now. Peacock winds up. Geez, a good player, this fellow. Oh, great run from Peacock. And the crowd love this fellow every time he gets the ball.
Yeah, nice play by Robin Thorne as well. When he brought that ball back, he saw that Peacock was unmarked. He took the blinkers off and gave it to him. Great play by Thorne. And Peacock, he's having a blinder.
So this is Herring.
And if the Gold Coast do come to the left, they've got Barry Walker and Colin van der Voort caught out in the back line here. They are a chance. Lewis will probably go wide. Just couldn't get that pass away. And a good tackle was made there by Colin van der Voort, playing a lot wider than he would like to be.
Lewis again stabs the ball for the line and should find it. Yes, sir. Nice kick. Takes play inside the 22, Penrith's end of the ground. So Lewis starting to get the boot working properly now, Fat. He's starting to find that line.
Well, he's done it monotonously over the years, but big weekend for lots of players retiring from the game on this weekend. Many players tomorrow, and I wish them all the best. This time last year was my last game. I know what they're going through. Just go out and give your best players like Gavin Miller, Michael O'Connor, Steve Roach, David Brooks, Gary Jack, many more who are retiring. Just like to wish you all the best.
Yeah, sentiments from everybody at Nines by World of Sports.
You want to be careful, Fatty. People will start thinking you're a nice bloke. Craig Coleman as well, off to England.
Yeah,
200
exactly.
first-grade games.
I am a nice bloke.
We'll miss someone, of course, and the little man, the general, sitting beside me. Didn't finish the way he wanted to, but we're pretty happy about what he's been doing with us. OK, let's come back to the play here. Cartwright plays at centre field. Walker holds the eye there too, Walker, when he got hit.
He's copped one, and Manson has seen it, and he's called out Darren Wollens for this tackle. Walker's not a well boy.
Cartwright having a bit to say too to the referee, Manson.
He's copped one around the neck area, around the throat.
Penalty to Penrith. Darren Wollens.
He certainly reacted, Barry Walker, once he got hit. And there was the big arm. It was swinging. Got him across the mouth. Probably, again, a little bit unlucky, Wollens, to be penalised for that. You see it a better angle front on. It's a touch high, but it just happened to sort of get him up around the face, which obviously hurts, but it was an accidental one. And
yeah, I don't think it was malicious.
Not at all.
Very impressed tonight with the refereeing performance of David Manson. Saw a referee today in the Saints-West game who gave away something like 22, 23 penalties, and it was a real stop-start affair, and he's had a shocker. But Manson, so far tonight, only 6 penalties. He's let the play flow.
Walker recovering from that high knock he just took. Takes play midway between the half and the quarter, the Seagulls end of the ground. Comes out for Fittler, gets it on to Carter. They're lined out now. Here's Alexander. Shovels the ball out for Mackay. But that was a forward one.
There have been some forward ones thrown tonight. We've probably seen half a dozen passes picked up. The crowd reacted to that one as we see a change made. Mike McLean going off for the Gold Coast. And number 40, Wayne Bartram, will go on. It's Paul Martin, the centre. He's had a good game tonight as well. Maybe just what they need, the Gold Coast, infusion of new blood out there. Bartram, quite a smart player.
Tony Ray, is there anything wrong with McLean, or just a change, fresh player, fresh face?
Well, Darryl, there is actually. It's been a particularly courageous effort from Mike McLean tonight. He had to have a painkilling injection in a medial ligament in the knee before the game. Out of mark of respect for Wally Lewis, he participated as long as he could. And it's usually about this time in the game that the painkiller starts to wear off.
Yeah, he's been a great buy for the Gold Coast. OK, here we go. The Mexican waves on. Lewis has got the ball. Penrith will get the grip between the teeth. The defence has held all night tonight, except for one incisive try from the Gold Coast as Wollens now. He gets it away to the fresh player, as we talk about now. Here's another chance. Weston tackled on the 22.
Well, straight away, Bartram involved, picked up Craig West on the last tackle. Lewis looks to the wide, he's dropped a little one. He'll score himself, he can pick it up. He'll still score, yes.
I think the kick's gone in. Oh, look at this crowd. They have gone absolutely off. Oh, the kick's gone in. You wouldn't believe it. He's trademarked a little stab kick and dives over the line. And this crowd love every second of it.
Well, that'll do me. He's a genius. He's come up with one. Oh, it's freaky. It's a freakish bounce. And he was on hand. He tried a little kick before. It nearly came off. On this occasion, it has. The crowd, they're standing to a man. Here we go. He did it all on his own. Just a little one through. Got a nice bounce here. Leeds slipped over. That helped him. And Carter just couldn't hold him.
Well, I've got to disagree with you, Fatty. I don't think he got a bounce at all here.
No, it's Alexander who slips over.
It's rolled through. Lewis has got it. There's Carter trying to hold on. He's enough strength to turn around. And that's a try through perseverance.
Well, it's the strength of the man. It's been his trademark. He's used his beat and his strength in all the arenas of rugby league all around the world. And I'll tell you what, the crowd have loved every second of that. I don't think I've seen a crowd go up other than the State of Origin match as quickly as this one did.
No, I said before the game, I hoped old Baldy got a try, and he's certainly done that. And what it's done, though, it's put the Gold Coast in front with a kick to come.
It certainly has. Okay, what a crucial kick. Weston. Pretty simple angle, but it's the simple ones that sometimes become the most difficult. 10-8, the Seagulls lead. There it goes, right over the black dot. Up they go again. So I remind you now the score, Seagulls 12, leading Penrith the champions 8. David Manson blows time on. Well, Peter, you said that this was a crunch game for Penrith. There'd be a lot of coaches now with a smile on their face around Sydney because, as you said, they don't want this side in the semis. No,
they don't want Penrith there with the experience and the skill level that they have out there. And they know that it'll be an easy run without the Panthers involved. Well, I again must give a rap to Wayne Bartram. It was a timely interchange coming on. He was the man that made the big bust up the middle, found Craig Weston. And that allowed on the last tackle a fair bit of time for Wally Lewis to make up his mind what he wanted to do. So Bartram's, he'd only been on the field a couple of minutes, and he's done something very positive.
So the Gold Coast now through the boot of Weston. He'll find the line too. Great kick shot takes play inside the 22. So the Coast on a roll at the moment. This crowd's revved up. Everybody's revved up. Wally's last game, he scored a try. Well, and the champs, well, they're down on the ropes at the moment.
And this is quite an important change here for the Penrith team. Steve Carter leaving the field, holding his right arm. I don't think that Penrith have a replacement on as yet, so they're one short. Alexander picks up Paul Smith.
Nathan Barnes has come on, he's gone onto the wing.
So Brad Fittler looks as though he'll slot into the 5'8" position. He's receiving the first pass now, on to Andrew Leeds.
So Leeds now works play outside the 22, but crunch in they come, horse all over the top. The Seagulls. They've got their feathers ruffled now. Cartwright charges at the Seagulls line. But look at this defence from the Gulls now. They're in there 2 and 3 men. They can smell a victory here. 12-8 they lead. Inspirational stuff. The crowd now thump and bash anything they can get hold of. Great atmosphere here on the Gold Coast. Hope you're enjoying it on Night Sports right around Australia. Now Cartwright winds up centre field. Takes it up 6 or 7.
That's 2 rucks in 3 rucks for Johnny Cartwright, trying to inspire his side. Alexander
with a chip for Mackay. Mackay can't pick it up. They shovel it back. Well, I think it's Wallens that's fallen on it. Sorry, Fatty.
Well, dangerous there. If they'd have got a bounce, Graham Mackay was on the fly, very hard man to stop. Fortunately, Wallens was able to clean up. Nice little kick over the top from Greg Alexander. The bounce didn't favour the Penrith team, and it's come out the back.
Lewis shovels one out for Thorne, but he can't take it. Gee, that was a big pass. Couldn't take it.
No, bad luck for the Coast, but this is danger now for the Coast. Leading 12-8. Wally just threw a speculator over. Wasn't handled there by Robin Thorne, but now an attacking scrum for Penrith, 30 metres out from the Gold Coast line.
So scrum to pack Alexander to feed for the Panthers. Plenty of instruction going out for Fittler. He's waiting for the ball. There it goes now to Fittler. Look at the runners coming through. It goes on to Leeds and it goes on to Mackay. Mackay charges hard and straight, but they meet him. Still short of the 22. Vandervoort. Boyd looking to see who he's going to give it to. He gives it to Walker. Walker takes it to the 22, just inside now. Still very deep, Penrith. Alexander giving plenty of instructions. It goes to Fittler. Now it comes to Alexander. Little half break from Alexander. They ride him down to the ground now and thump him down. Back where they started, the Panthers. Boyd comes out for Clark. Clark shovels one out for Vandervoort. Nice pass too. Running out of tackles. Boyd turning around, looking for support, gets the arm straight and passes it straight to the goalpost. Well, there was no support there for him, though. He stood there and waited for an eternity.
No, surely they must have had another option there. Probably a little bit selfish by Boyd, but you're right, he did have no runners. He just came out looking for someone, and Brent Todd was the man who was on the spot to take that pass.
So Western to play it back now. It comes to Martin, is it? Out for Todd. Todd looked to shovel one back to Davies, but it didn't happen. Big Seagull on the sideline here has got more gun up there. He's trying to take off. Okay, the ball's taken back off to Andrew Leeds. Brings it back. This has been a very, very entertaining game so far. And the Coast leading 12-8. A game Penrith really have to win. And the clock counting down. So it comes back this time for Smith. We're on some heavy stuff on Wallens. Savage defence there. Oh, what about that on McNamara? Bang! That's a rib rattler, that one. From the King. To Cartwright. Slips one away, Cartwright. No, takes the ball down right on the halfway line. They play it back. The runners start to come through. Again, McNamara. Wow. Is he coughing a belting when he takes it up? Well, you can't hear anything here. The crowd just thumping anything they can get hold of.
We've got another penalty now to the Gold Coast, and I believe it's either for stepping off the mark or for McNamara lashing out in the tackle with his boot. Gold Coast player was down injured. Here's McNamara getting tackled, and as he gets up, I think there's an indiscretion here somewhere. There's nothing, maybe an elbow or something in the tackle.
So the Coast will be happy with this. It relieves the pressure. Again, they can get back into Penrith territory.
Tony Ray, that incident was right in front of you. Did you pick up anything? It didn't look too bad on the screen, and quite an important penalty, giving away a penalty when you've got possession.
Yeah, Wally certainly reacted. I think he thought he copped an elbow. He's been known to act throughout his career. He's pulling out all the old tricks tonight.
So the Gold Coast now in Penrith's half. Davies getting it on to Martin. Will come to Wallens. He winds up. They're running with a lot more purpose now. They can smell it in this crowd, revving them up. Capacity crowd here tonight at the Seagulls Stadium as the King takes it forward again to the 22. Peacock in an acting half. It comes out to Davies. Davies with a little darting run. Too much defence though. Lewis puts it high. There was plenty of signals on this. It's a great kick too. Oh, taken beautifully by Leeds, but they wrap him up. The chase was as good as the take.
Magnificent take by Andrew Leeds on the fly. It was an angled kick right across the front of the goal post, which didn't help the Penrith players, but Leeds took it magnificently. Beautiful kick by Lewis. Just drifts across the front of the goal post, and Leeds took it well with the help of Paul Smith.
Well, I don't know if he got much help at all, really, did he? If anything, Smith probably got in the road. Leeds did a marvellous job and did a good job to catch it in goal. 22 tap taken by the Penrith team. Colin Vandervoort tackled 35 metres out.
No, he's had a marvellous season, Leeds. He's taken some great catches, hasn't he, in that danger zone. OK, here's the Panthers back on attack through Mackay. They shovel it out, but nobody there to take it. They've got to scramble back and leap on it. Barnes it was that jumped on it. Now they come back along the line. But look at this defence. Nice ball away. OK, referee says playing on a high shot there too.
Well, Brett Boyd's been deemed to have knocked on there. Big tackle there from
Brett Horsford.
Enabled the ball. Les Wallens being involved as well with Bartram. The ball's gone out in the back. It's called that a knock-on. Bit of a high tackle on Alexander following, but it will be a Gold Coast feed. And Ali Davies picks up from the scrum base. He's going to go around Lewis.
Cole Vandervoort is having a rest at the moment, and Paul Dunn is on in 21. Vandervoort is off, and Paul Dunn on in 21 for Penrith. Here's Todd. Takes the tackle inside Penrith half, reminding you of the score, 12-8 Seagulls over the Panthers at the moment. Inspirational stuff from Lewis here tonight. He scored a try. This crowd went absolutely mad if you've just joined us. Juggling act now from Horsdale. He takes it forward. Herring in an acting half. He'll go out to Davies. Lewis, again he stabs a kick. The chasers are coming through. Weston, can he get it? No. Leeds takes it beautifully again. Geez, positioning himself well tonight, Leeds. Every time there's been a ball that looks dangerous, he's been on it. So the Panthers need to get out of here and get out of here quick. As Dunn, the fresh man on, plays it back.
Paul Dunn, a player who's also playing his last game for the Penrith club. Is that right? Parramatta have signed him up, Steeler?
That's right, Paul Dunn, new signing for Parramatta. Done a marvellous job for Penrith over the last couple of years. Of course, a very experienced player, won a premiership with the Canterbury club as well. To really get the impression out there that the Gold Coast can snip a victory. Kick there from Alexander. You'll find Tuss. Just a little bit more of a spring in the step with these Gold Coast players now. They're getting a little bit harder. Oh,
no doubt about that. Wallens is down in the back play here. Trainer coming out to treat him now, but he's up and just...
Well, it was just going in to try and put some pressure on Greg Alexander. Not an accidental knee, he's carrying his right arm a little bit, but he'll be okay. Packs into the second row.
Yeah, I mentioned before that the Gold Coast are running with a lot more purpose, and there's no doubt about that. So Davies now. Shovels went out again for Thorne. Centre field, Lewis. Back onto Davies. He's covered some ground, this little bloke tonight. He's been everywhere. Back for Weston. Up they come centre field. Again they get on to Herring.
Toko, actually. He's had a big game in tight there. He's done a lot of good things.
Lewis. Centre field, halfway line. Toko or Toko? Toko, I think. Whatever you say, Fatty. Toko. So another kick from the Seagulls, and again finding the line, something they weren't doing in the first 20 minutes of this game.
No, but they'll try and do it now, Darryl. 64 minutes gone. The clock is on their side, so the more time that they can waste, the better it's going to be. They don't really want to be giving the football back in broken play situations to the Penrith team. They can set their defence now.
Well, it'll be a marvellous gift to Lewis, wouldn't it? I mean, he's given us so much, and I heard him in a radio interview with Ray Warren this morning when I was going to the airport, and he was saying that the only thing he regrets that he was never ever accepted by the fans down south. But he also qualified that by saying a lot of that was probably my fault too. So he's given us a lot of pleasure, and what a way for him to go out if they can win this tonight. Hanging on by their fingernails at the moment. And a penalty goes against them, and that'll help Penrith.
Silly play by Bartram on that occasion. Fittler made a little jinking run, and Bartram, although Fittler sort of grabbed him and got him in a headlock, the penalty could have gone the other way.
And that was a fine kick too from Leeds. Peacock just putting his foot into touch.
Yeah, it'll mean it's a scrum feed now. But I agree with Paul. I really think that Brad Fittler was lucky to get away with that. A little bit of a Rodeo act there, bulldogging the tackle player.
But speaking of Fittler, I think he is the one player. He's got to start doing something now. That step has got to start getting it working.
Here he goes. There's the stepper! Almost on cue, let me tell you. Straight through.
You've got Coach written all over you, Fatty.
Oh, dear me.
Call me super.
Almost straight through. So Penrith now, they know it's desperation time. Alexander turns it back inside for Mackay. Mackay storming down, but again gives it back to the Gold Coast. That's twice he's done that.
And that's panic football from Penrith. They've still got plenty of time to win this game. They don't need to be throwing passes like that, especially only on the third tackle.
So the Gold Coast now running out of their danger zone again.
Yeah, he's done a good job, Toko, tonight. Taking a lot of hard yards and may have gone unnoticed in the crowd, but certainly amongst his teammates, they know that he's done his job.
Yeah, he's wounded a bit too. He's down on his haunches at the moment. Now as Herring brings it up.
He's also got 20 tackles up as well.
Out for Lewis. Lewis just says, let's get out of here. Kicks it. Leeds coming across. Smith with the ball. Now he gets it back to Leeds. Leeds straightens it up. But Penrith have to do the work to get back into that area now where they can attack. Still in their own half. Ollington comes back with it. He's held up. They can't put him down. This defence now from the Gold Coast. Look how eager it is. 1, 2, 3 people in every time. Now Penrith start to work. Here's Fittler. Fittler starting to step. He's got some support. Smith turns it back inside though. Ollington can't take it, puts it down, and that's been the story of their night in this second half.
I thought Fittler may have taken the wrong option in throwing the face pass there. He had 2 men outside him, one defender. He went to the outside man, and that nullified what they were able to do.
Score, Seagulls 12, Penrith 8. Davies. Thorne gets barreled centre field. Lewis moves into dummy half. Comes out for Weston. Weston starts to strike. Weston! He's gone right through him. Is there any support for him? He's striding down. They're going to get him. There's no doubt about that. Oh, great cover defence. They barrel him inside the 22. But Weston's got the coast rolling and rocking again. Oh,
and he's knocked it on. And
that's not what they wanted.
Weston made a great run. And a beautiful tackle by Barnes. But they've got him for dropping the ball. And this will be a Penrith scrum and feed. Sensational run by Weston. Rolling down there like a wagon wheel. Sensational stuff from him. But Nathan Barnes, a great tackle.
I knew you'd get it in somewhere, I really did.
Oh, they just keep coming.
But he wasn't going to score, Weston. He had Barnes behind him. He had Alexander coming across. The ball's come out. Penrith, scrum win and feed. And Andrew Leach, well, he's lost it. He has lost it. It'll be a Gold Coast feed now.
Well, here we go. The Gold Coast will get the feed of this scrum inside the 22. Seagulls 12, leading Penrith 8. So the feed now. Seagulls ball. Here's Lewis. Lewis starts to one up. He wants to run a little bit. Can't go too far. 3 or 4. Signals going everywhere now. Weston with a beautiful run to get him into this position. Forward they go again. Penrith are looking pretty tight at the moment.
And Danny Peacock setting himself on the blind side. He's outside Horsnell. He takes the play that way himself. And they'll look to go back.
Herring, which way will he go? Out they come now, the wrap around for Herring. There's Lewis. They read it pretty well like Penrith, but he's only about 6 or 7 metres out.
Again, Peacock on the blind.
Quick service. Davies. Oh, still going, the little fella, but just can't get through that last line of defence from Penrith. Herring goes hard and straight from there, but no surge. It was a good effort, though. Oh, it was a good effort.
Yeah, selfish play, though, really, from Herring. They had a few numbers on the right-hand side and on the left side, and Herring on that occasion, Tony Ray, I think he erred.
He does it all the time when he gets close to the line. A number of times, we've seen occasions earlier in the year he's come up trumps. There was not much happening when you're that close to the line. I think it was worth a shot. Fatty, the tension down here is unbelievable. We're inside the last 10 minutes. The crowd's just on the edge of their seats, screaming their heads off. I think we're going to see an upset.
Tony, it is a bit like Lang Park on a miniature scale, isn't it?
Well, it is. I think everybody regards Wally Lewis, and most Queenslanders regard Wally Lewis as the best they've ever seen, and they just dearly want him to go out on a winning note.
Well, everybody but Penrith, that is. But they're running out of time, and they haven't had any field position for the last 10 minutes of this game. The only time they got down there, Mackay gave it back to the Gold Coast. Now this kick, nice and deep. Peacock's got to chase it back, made sure he picked it up cleanly. Well done. Now he gets that step going. Beats the first one, but he gets it out to the 22. He's played well tonight.
He had a great game, Peacock. Colin Vandervoort's back on the field, and Paul Dunn is the man who's been replaced.
So the Gold Coast, there's orders being screamed everywhere. Todd unloads it this time for Davies. He claps on the pace. He's got support with Thorne inside, but couldn't get it to him.
Again, I thought a little bit of inexperience there from Weston. He went inside where he should have just run into the hole for Ali Davies to put him through. Lewis knows what's needed in this last 10. Play it down that end of the field. Let the Panthers make the mistakes. A good chase led here by Wolans. Comes up on Leeds, comes up with the tackle.
Oh, that's a great chase. That is a great chase. Wolans just he really hounded down that field. And in the first half, that wasn't happening. They can really sense that this is their night. But don't write Penrith off. They're likely to do anything, as we saw in the first half. Fatty Vaughan was saying they can score a try from anywhere, this mob.
And Fatty was also mentioning Brad Fittler needing to get involved. He is the key to the Penrith team now. If he does something special, they're still in this game.
So, McNamara loses possession. Wallens jumps on it for the coast. It comes out for Lewis. But again, the attack is nullified, the defence is there, but Penrith can't hold the ball for 6. There's no doubt about that. They're having all sorts of trouble doing that.
He must have had another painkiller, Fatty. Mike McLean hitting the ball up again.
Yeah, he's back on, and Toko's the man who's gone off.
So the coast now, nice and long and deep. Here's Lewis, watch for a big pass. He puts a short pass up. Oh, no! Just a silly ball. He only had to hang on to it to keep the field position, but couldn't do it. Oh dear, Paul Martin.
Only had to keep his feet and he scores a try as well. He was under the post, unbelievable.
This has been a very entertaining game. Let me tell you that this player's gone from one side of the field to one end of the other.
Great ankle tap, Greg Alexander.
Here they go now, Penrith. Here they go, they open it up, they turn it back inside, knocked down by the coast though. Oh, close stuff for the coast.
Yeah, nice run there by Nathan Barnes, the youngster. And the ball was knocked down. It's safely gone into the Gold Coast hands. They can waste a bit more time here, get back on side. 6 minutes remaining. Beautiful ball by Fittler. Barnes showed a lot of pace to get around more. And the pass inside, it was Paul Martin who got his Duke on the pill. And he's the one who'll play the ball.
So back they come again, the Gulls.
He got his hand on the ball in that one.
Gold Coast, centre field. McLean back on the field. As Tony Ray said, had an injection at the start of this game. Obviously, he's had another one. Courageous performance from him tonight. Wants to be there with Lewis. If they can win it, Lewis stabs it down again. Again, Wallens is chasing down. And they find the line through Lewis. So they're back on Penrith's 22. Oh, boy.
We couldn't give him the man of the match, could we? The last time. What do you reckon, Sterlo?
I reckon the little number 7 inside him's had a pretty fair game tonight. Lewis, he is running the show now. Lewis with his kicking game, and that's the way they're always going to play it.
As a matter of fact, fellas, during the State of Origin series, Lewis has won man of the match 8 times. Can you believe that? 8 times. Back they come again, Penrith. Robin Thorne takes it for the coast. He's got some support there too, and finds it in Clinton Moore. And Moore still going. Great run, Moore. Geez, had a good game.
And a very unsuccessful ploy there by the Penrith team, kicking from the scrum win. Gave possession away. They allowed the runner to run it all the way back. And Darren Wallens now tackled. 6 again, signalled by the referee. Things really going well for the Gold Coast as Lewis goes to the line.
Gets it to Weston. He's wrapped up, though. Ollington gets him. Lewis gets it onto McLean. McLean goes hard and straight and makes a couple, just takes a set, and now they start to get organised from the base of the scrum. It's Herring, is it? Yep. Lewis comes in at dummy half. Goes himself. I couldn't believe. Now he shovels it out for Davies. They've got some numbers here. If they can unload. Plenty of support comes out Davies. He's handled twice, Davies. Gets it away again. It's still alive. This is Bartram. Bartram goes hard and straight, though. New player on, I'm not sure who it was.
I think it's Donovan.
Might be Larry Corowa.
Donovan.
He's made a comeback.
Donovan is on. They're coming on in all shapes and sizes here at the moment, the fresh troops.
Let's play on for the Penrith side. Not a real good kick there by the coast. Came off the knees of a Penrith player, and they've, it's getting down to last chance time for the Panthers. They've got to stay alive in this competition. They need a win.
It had to be a better kick, that one, even if they weren't going to score from it. To get in the in-goal area and get another set of 6 tackles, you can only hold on for so long.
Alexander, so what I was saying, it's Donovan in the purple white colours, is that it? 4 minutes to go. Cartwright, hard and straight.
And Brent Toddy's down in back play. They can't afford to only have 12 men in their defensive line. They've called to the sideline. He's going to be replaced. They've got to get someone on quick smart.
Clark shovels a nice ball out. Oh, picked up beautifully by Cole Vandervoort. He runs down the field. Look, he's trying to get support. Comes out to tackle. Lewis gets him. They keep it alive. This is Hollington. He's got support too. Gets it out to Smith. Smith straightens up now. Smith heading for the line now. Puts one off the ground and gives it straight back to the goal post. And the crowd, he love it. They love it when Penrith give it back.
Oh, and it's almost like the Panthers don't want to win. They've played some good football there, but the last pass has gone astray again. And now the Gold Coast counter-attack. Here they go. Donovan down the right-hand flank, got some speed.
Donovan opens him up down the sideline. Doesn't, but yes, he does. He gets through the first one and then gets tackled.
Great tackle, Colin van der Voort, coming across like a good lock forward. But again, they've got numbers back to the left. If they look outside, he hasn't done that, Tocco.
Slammed down for his money too. Herring moves quickly into dummy half. McLean goes hard and straight. Listen to this crowd. Everybody pumped up. This has been a great game of football. And maybe a big upset on the cards as Lewis strides forward. Unloads again. The ball goes loose. Dived on by McLean. Scrummed it back. Oh, there's plenty being said. Plenty being said. Wally's filthy.
He's got to get one more blast in.
Yeah, have a look at that one. That's one's for prosperity, that one.
Oh, we love him.
From posterities.
Great showman, great player, great captain. Look at this. Look at the determination written all over his face. The ball just going astray. McLean driving on it. But look at Lewis. Look at him off the ground. He's blowing right up. Out they come now. Penrith, a chance for them to come back. Hollington takes play down. Midway between the quarter and a half and the Penrith side away back the other side of the field. Fittler saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, big, long, floating pass from Leeds. Taken to Walker. Walker goes 2 or 3.
Under 2 minutes to go, and that was a big tackle, Craig Weston. If Oljunik had beaten him, he had a run to the line. Mackay getting involved now. The big gun from Penrith, they're running out of time.
Well, is this going to be the finish that Penrith can pull off? Can they get out of trouble with just a couple of minutes to go? Alexander opens him up. He's got no support though. Now it comes through. Wave after wave of Penrith players, but they're getting knocked over as quickly as they get the ball from the Seagulls. Magnificent defence so far. Here's Fittler. Fittler now finds a gap. No, it's smothered up. He gets it back though to McManara. He gets it on the Boyd. The little legs, the tree trunks are popping. They put the ball down. Oh, chance with Alexander. Still going through Walker. Oh no! Final pass goes again. Oh dear, the play breaking down in the crucial moments. And Penrith threw everything at the Gold Coast then.
Well, that was it. That had to be a try there. I think they butchered a try. They really did. They always looked as though they were going to score. Brett Boyd, this is a magnificent pickup from Greg Alexander on his bootlaces. I thought he'd score himself here, but he came back inside Bartram, found a slower player in Walker, and Cartwright, well, he might have nearly been tackled without the ball.
Yeah, I think Peacock got his hand in there and spoiled the party for Penrith. Now the case, they've just got to hang on for 6 and it's all over. It's been the biggest upset of the season.
12-8. Lewis's Gold Coast boys are leading. Penrith at the moment, Lewis with the ball, inspirational tonight. They've rallied around him, the boys. Mike McLean coming out with a series of pain-killing injections to stay on the field with Lewis. And he's really rallied him around. Tony Ray, it's been a great performance, hasn't it?
Yeah, plenty of courage, plenty of heart. This guy, particularly Mike McLean. The atmosphere is sensational. What a tribute to Wally Lewis. What a send-off. Good on you, Wally.
There's the countdown coming on. They're going to get away with Lewis. It's the last ball.
He's the last one tackle.
The Seagulls have put Penrith out of business for 1992 with an upset win here. Look at Cartwright. He can't believe it. And look at Lewis, swapped by his players. What a fitting end to a career that's been a winner all the way. He's done it for Australia, he's done it for State of Origin, for Queensland, and now he's done it for the Gold Coast with a win. Unbelievable scenes here, Peter and Fatty.
Yes, he'll be a very proud man at the moment, Wally. The greatest career possibly of a rugby league player, but even tonight he'll be more proud of his players, the way they've played, than anything else he's ever achieved. A great performance by the Coast and a fitting note to end on.
Well, there's no way Wally Lewis was not going to go out in style, whether they won this football game or not. That's a very happy wife, Jackie Lewis. She'll be happy to have him back in the life a little bit more, even though he's got the training commitments with coaching next year, but he's just had a marvellous career. And I suppose that, you know, it is a fairy tale ending, really.
Well, I got to say that I was there for the State of Origin for 10 years. I saw him pull on the green and gold for the first time as Australia's captain, and he was booed when he ran to the Sydney cricket ground. He never forgot it. It hurt him greatly. I was also here the night they played Canterbury in the first trial match when he wore these colours for the first time. I've really saved his career. I think he's a champion, true and true. Maybe a little controversial from times, and there's his daughter, of course, the deaf daughter that he's really become so devoted to.
Yeah, that's his family. Jamie Lee, Lincoln in the middle, and Mitchell, that's my godson. He's on the left.
Well, what do you say about Wally Lewis? I mean, we'll argue whether he was the greatest player of the modern times. Many say that the man sitting beside me, Peter Sterling, was just that. But gee whiz, I tell you what he hasn't accomplished for this game and what he hasn't accomplished for the public too. He's thrilled them, he's upset them, he's had them booing and cheering, Pete, but he's been a mighty man for rugby league.
Well, he's been the best player I've ever had the honour of playing against, and that's at any level. He's done a good job up there with the Seagulls. I know that might sound a little bit silly when they have got the wooden spoon this year, but they're a much more competitive team. The wave goes up, and I really think the fact that we've got so many people out here, that's great, isn't it? A full crowd here, out here to see him.
Jim and June Lewis, they'd be very proud tonight of all that their son has achieved. They've been with him since day one. And he's got some look like Wally Lewis footballs there, kicking him into the crowd.
Yeah, fantastic stuff as the kids get wrapped up in it too. Well, Paul Vaughton, you played alongside him in State of Origin for so many years, and I know he's one of your very best mates. What are you feeling looking at these scenes?
Well, it's hard to describe, but, you know, he's gone out in style, as he would have wished to have, and you can just see the way the crowd are reacting. The Queenslanders love him, and he's just an out-and-out champion. Great bloke and a real good friend.
Walking around the crowd now, the crowd here standing in front of us, just to the person, while he's throwing the footballs up. Won't they be prized possessions for people to keep? Remember the night the great man gave it away here on the Gold Coast, left Brisbane under very controversial circumstances. There was a lot of bitterness when he left Brisbane. He came to the Gold Coast, and the coast have adopted him. Queensland's always loved him, and rugby league fans have adored the man. He's just given us so much pleasure in every arena that the game is played worldwide. He's a household name, not just here, but in England, in Papua New Guinea, New Zealand. They all know him. And it's a pleasure for me to be here and see the final appearance of the great Wally Lewis. And the crowd here have just loved every second of it. He scored a try. It was a fairy tale ending.